Today, we're going to be taking a look at this Wolfgang Uber SiO2 silica spray that our friends at AutoGeek were kind enough to supply me with for my testing. Thank you guys, I really appreciate that. Now, let me tell you a little about this product. Essentially, it promises to give you hydrophobic qualities, slickness, and durability. Now, they say it could be used as both an independent product all on its own or as a booster to an existing coating. So, I'm very curious to see how it'll perform. We're going to do my full battery of tests, and then at the end, I'll give you guys the scoring. Let's get started with the Wolfgang Uber SiO2 silica spray, and the directions basically tell you to put an even coat on it and then wipe it off. First, we're going to shake it up and then we will start spraying it on. The health and safety warnings on this tell us to wear gloves and face protection, and it says to avoid inhaling it, drinking it, or getting it on your skin. And that looks like an even layer to me. Kind of seems like what they said to do. And now we'll wipe it off. This has all come off. I was initially skeptical. I thought I threw a lot of it down and we'd have issues picking it up with this towel. Now, in my testing, application is a 1-point score. It just tells us if the product was easy to use, and in this case, I thought the product was easy to use, so we will give it 1 point for an easy application. The bottle says there is no cure period, but as usual, I will give it 24 hours just because that's what I always do. We'll peel the tape up and we'll kind of see the difference in the two surfaces, and we'll go outside and do the rest of our testing. This is my gloss testing station. Here, we're going to use this gloss meter to determine if this Wolfgang Uber SiO2 silica spray has raised or lowered the base gloss of the panel. Now, the panel is 94 gloss units on this side where we haven't treated it, and we will find out where it lands over here. And the scoring here is really simple. Whatever the delta in the gloss reading is, you get that many points or you lose that many points, up to 1/10 of a point. Let's make sure the device is calibrated. We want it to read 104 at 20 degrees, and it is. Now, let's just make sure that this side is indeed what I'm saying it is. And 93.9, and keep in mind when I say 40, that is an average. We've got our handy little calculator. Let's take 5 readings and average them out. Let's start here in the middle. Looks like we're getting about 94.3. Let's try over here. And looks like we're getting about 93.7. Let's move here. 94.2, not bad. Looking like 94 there. And 94 over here, not bad at all. So in the end, we've got 470.2. Let's divide that by 5, and that gives us 94.04. So really didn't see a big change in gloss. Now you might be wondering, Dimitri, why didn't this give us a bunch more gloss, and why did you say some products lose gloss? I will actually say, in fact, most products cause the panel to lose gloss. And the reason for that is this is a very glossy panel. At 94 gloss units, it represents a very well taken care of car paint. Paint that's been polished, paint that looks really good. So if you have below average paint, if your paint is starting in the 80s, you will see a bigger boost. You will see more dramatic changes. Now, there is a whole other aspect to this, which is how pretty does the product look? And the amount of reflected light is just one measure of that. Now let's switch to our UVA protection. I've already done the test as usual, and we'll score it between 0 and 16, where 0 is no UVA protection at all, just as bad as having nothing on, and 16 is total protection. I'm not gonna go over all the math and science behind this. I have made a video for that. I will link it right up here for you. Check it out, it's an interesting video. But essentially, pretty much all products stay kind of 3 and under score-wise. We have seen clear coat and actual suntan lotion score into the 6s and the 8s and stuff like that, but everything else that we've tested falls between 0 and 3 so far. Let's find out where this is on our test strip. I would say the Wolfgang comes in darker than a 4, but lighter than a 2. So we're gonna call that a 3. I think that's a fair score for it. So 3 points. Before we move on, I wanna remind you that there is a link to my website down below in the description, and that link is to a table of all the prior test results. Furthermore, in the description, you'll find Amazon affiliate links to the tools, equipment, and products we're using in this video. It helps me out if you click through and purchase anything at all on Amazon. Doesn't even have to be the stuff I'm linking to, because I get a very small commission at no added cost to you, and that really helps drive the channel. Furthermore, I want to thank you guys. The channel has been growing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for clicking like. Thank you for leaving the kind comments. It was really cool to meet one of you guys the other day. Brian, if you're watching this, it was awesome meeting you at that ice house in Dallas. Now, as I mentioned, this product didn't require a cure time, but it has now been over 24 hours. We always include a minimal 24-hour cure time, and we're ready to move on to slickness testing. Now, guys, I won't go over the full details of how the testing and the physics here works, but I will link to a video right in your top right corner, and that video will explain this entire process. It's a dedicated video for this. But essentially, all we're doing here is measuring the static coefficient of friction and comparing it to the untreated side, which we already know. Let's go ahead and take 5 readings and average them out. So we got 70 grams. Let's go ahead and take the number 2 reading, 70 grams again. Take the 3rd reading, 0.9, so 90 grams. One more for the 4th reading, 70 grams again. Let's do the 5th final reading for our average, and 90 grams again. So 390 grams total. So let's divide 390 by 5 to get our average, and we're gonna call that 80 grams when we round up. So we're gonna take 80 grams, we're gonna divide that by 1040, which is the weight of the block, and we're gonna see that 0.08 rounded up is our static coefficient of friction. So we will take 0.38, which is the static coefficient of friction of the untreated side. We will subtract 0.08, and that means we have a 0.3 delta, which is a very high delta. Now we're going to multiply that by 30, which is our point score multiplier, and that means we get 9 points. Let's talk a little about visual appeal. Now this category is pass-fail. It's just like ease of application, where I give you my opinion on how pretty it looks. Now I can tell you guys straight away that this product is very pretty. The left side, which has been treated, it definitely looks glossier and deeper and kind of more rich than the right side, which looks dull by comparison, even though they were both polished before the start of the test. I'm gonna try to really show you guys the line, and I think I see it in my viewfinder right now, sort of right there where my fingers go, and it's kind of hard to show you, but it is right there. And to me, it's so clear that the left side is so much prettier, and especially where the light catches it. So I have to give a definite point for the Wolfgang here. It is just a very pretty product. I would be very happy with that finish on my car. And again, I'll tighten it in here and kind of try to show you again. Hopefully you can really see it well here, but man, when you catch that light, that line it just pops right out. It's time to do the durability test. To remind you, on the right, because we've kind of flipped around, on the right is our treated surface, so the Wolfgang UVA SiO2 silica spray, and the left we've got nothing going on other than bare paint. And first, let's see the difference between polished paint and how hydrophobic it is versus treated polished paint, and compare the two. Now let's look at the right at our Wolfgang. Let's go ahead and start the durability test. For this, I'm going to wash it repeatedly until it fails, and then give it a score based on the amount of washes it went through. So we're going to use the Blue Atom shampoo that I've used for every single test. All right, now let's do a rinse. As you can see, after one wash, it's still working well. Let's test out the Wolfgang 4N. Let's do the 23rd wash together. Yes, we're up to number 23, and we're starting to see some effects. All right, let's rinse off number 23. Let's check out the hydrophobicity. All right, let's see how it's doing. This is 40M. It is getting laid out and I'm at 104. Let's give this a shot and rinse it. All right, let's check out the Wolfgang side. So guys, it's clearly failed at this point. 104 I think is fair. There are still little pockets of wax that are working, but overall if this was on my car, I'd be redoing it. I think I've officially pretty much lost all the light, but I think we can still do this wrap up real quick for this Wolfgang product. So what do I really like? Well, the number one killer thing, obviously, that durability. 104 for a spray product, awesome. Especially one that's not complicated to use, doesn't have a million steps, and is relatively simple overall. Now, the only caveat I will give that in the use of durability is, at least my interpretation of the instructions seem to require a lot of it being sprayed on. It's just kind of how I read it. It seemed to indicate you should put an even coating on and then wipe it off, which is different than products that you can just mist on a little bit and then wipe around. The other stuff that I really liked, well, it was a very pretty product. I don't think it was the prettiest thing we've seen recently, but it was very pretty. And furthermore, it was also a very slick product. And slickness is actually important because it helps when you clean the car so that you don't put as many scratches and swirls into it. Now, on the UV side, it's pretty much what we expected, no miracles, but a 3 is as good as it gets. And in the gloss testing, I think we all kind of just saw a wash. There wasn't really much of a difference, but visually, like I said, very pretty product. So overall, what's my thought? Well, I think it's worth trying out. I'm gonna play with it some more. I think it's a quality product. I want to test out this tire wax from Soft 99. They just sent me this stuff. I kind of like the way that's looking. It is a little bit like shoe polish, as you can see. It does give a very convincing new rubber look. There are still a few little streaks, but I have to say it did kind of even out a little more.